Let's go live. All right, we're on. Hey guys, how you going? So I'm Bakehouse Sport. This isn't a good video, man. This isn't a good video. I'm actually quite emotional. Quite upset about what we've actually seen tonight. Some people might think it's an overreaction for some people, or for us to be feeling like this. But it really isn't if you understand what happened tonight and what it actually means. I thought I'd go live. I wasn't planning to go live. I was just enjoying the match. I did the Australia vs South Africa stream all day, and just watching the cricket. And then, I decided that instead I was just going to kick back and watch some football, because that's effectively all we want to do, man. Effectively everything that we want. And what we've been fighting for in the protests and the videos and content that's been created by people out there, whether it be people like myself or active areas, not speaking about UOSM after what we've just seen. There's been so much good work that has been done in this last week, but what we saw tonight was disgusting, and what we saw tonight has actually put us so far back. We just want to watch football. That's effectively what we do, and that's what we want. We just want to enjoy our time supporting our teams. For anyone who doesn't understand what's happened tonight, obviously this last week, if you had saw my video, I explained the old APL situation where they're moving the grand final for the next 3 years to Sydney. And it's a heartbreaking decision because it was very much a money-based decision that no one cared about to ask about the fans, and the fans don't want it. No one from Sydney wanted it, let alone anyone from anywhere wanted it. It's a stupid decision that is based around making their own selves money rather than the league. They tell you lies. They've been telling us lies all week. Blah, blah, blah. No one gives a shit. Dane Townsend's a piece of shit, right? And I'm not going to come out here and go against that, because I've been saying that this entire week, and I agree 100%. The guy is absolutely a moron of the highest degree, and to come out and completely disregard the fans even continuously throughout this week, this is his fault, right? And it's now going to be put on us, and unfortunately tonight we've had protests all throughout the weekend, where at the 20th minute the active areas will walk out and they'll make a statement that football is nothing without the fans. Tonight, however, at the 20th minute, we had a goalkeeper attacked with a bin, and we had flares thrown onto the field, which, look, I'm not actually too upset with the flares going onto the field. I'm not actually too upset with majority of going onto the field and making a statement by rushing the field. However, it is very upsetting to see a player who has nothing effectively to do with it all get attacked, literally attacked, with a bin or whatever it was, a metal bin of some sort being thrown at his head. He's got a concussion. He's got, cut on the head. He's in hospital right now or some shit. Referee being attacked, players being attacked, everyone being attacked left, right, and centre, man. I just don't understand. All you had to do is, if you wanted to rush the field, was rush the field and stop the game. You didn't need to actually physically assault someone. Those people from the OSM, which is the Melbourne supporters area, need 100% be held accountable. I don't believe this is the entirety of the OSM. You can't blame an entire. Well, I guess you're going to have to, but it's hard to blame an entire section on the back of individual dickheads. But we are now going to be blamed for this as a whole, as fans. Us as fans in general are now going to be. One of the things that'll be said is, now do you feel safe having a grand final in Melbourne? Right? That's one thing that'll be put out there. They're not going to feel safe to have a grand final in Melbourne because of idiots like that. Secondly, the grand final is probably going to be moved permanently to Sydney now, because it's going to be to prove a point that the fans are violent and we're hooligans again. And this is exactly what happened in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019 with the FFA, right? We're now going to be made out like hooligans because of a certain bunch of people. There is no excuse for what happened tonight. I don't believe that Tom Glover was throwing a flare towards the OSM and to antagonise. I don't believe that he's throwing a flare at anyone. I think he's throwing a flare in between the advertising boards and also the fans, so that no one's getting hit by it. If someone got hit by it, then come out and say it. But in the same sense, you better have damn well proof. The people who have gone onto the field and attacked him should absolutely face legal action, and I don't think anyone can argue that. overall, man, it's so hard to speak tonight because I'm just so shocked about what we saw. I just can't believe that it actually got to that point, and it's just sad. It's sad, and it's not that I disagree with anything besides the attacking, right? That's the one thing that I do disagree with, but it's sad that we've gotten to this point that this has become a necessity, where this is actually becoming a thing. You know, we've always maintained that we're not the hooliganism that you've seen in England over the last ever, right? Or how it goes in South America with Boca Juniors and River Plate. Or, you know, the likes of Galatasaray and those at Fenerbahce. We've always maintained that we have fun, but we're always respectful too. You know, effectively the entire point of the protest is just because we want to watch football. You know, we want to watch the sport and enjoy it and not have greedy corporations dictate when and where we can watch it and, you know, expect us to pay more money because it means they're getting money and blah, 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 right? That's how we've always maintained. And that's what we always maintained against the FFA in the late 2010s, that we weren't what the media was portraying. Well, tonight has just proven that we are what was being portrayed at the end of the 2010s. And tonight has just given the bald-headed piece of shit every piece of ammunition that he could have ever asked for because of a certain bunch of idiots who have no idea what they're doing and let their emotions get carried away with them. It's really hard to talk, man. It really is. I thought I'd go live and talk to you guys in the chat. Obviously, there's people watching right now, and I thought I'd chat with you guys. It's just upsetting. It's really sad that we've gotten to this point. It's really sad that we have to do this, and it's really sad that I don't even know if the games will go ahead tomorrow. You know, I don't know if what games will go ahead. You know, the Brisbane Roar, Newcastle Jets, they did it fine. Mariners and Sydney, they did it fine. Wellington and... I don't know who Wellington played today. I think they won though. Let me go have a look quickly. Who did they play? Wellington played Adelaide. You know, they all did it fine. And like I said, I don't know about tomorrow, but I would assume that the Western United and the Wanderers and MacArthur and Perth will do it fine too. But I don't know if the games go ahead. And I think they probably do, but in the same sense, it might be behind closed doors. We'd never know. I'm just so surprised that we've had to come on here. I could cry as well, Lachlan. You know, Lachlan Singers could cry right now. I have had a tear. It's just sad that we've had to come to this point. And you know, I've seen a comment saying something about Victorians. It's like, I understand that you trust Victorians, Hainsey says. I understand that. I understand that the Victory fans are going to be blamed here. And look... To an extent, it's too right because it is still their fans and it wasn't the City fans who did it and no other fan base has done it. I think that because of the emotions that have been riding high on this situation, that is the reason why maybe fans took it as a form of attack, as if he was throwing the flare back at him, which obviously he was not. It was very obvious that he was just taking the flare off of the field and throwing it back into a section that you can clearly see goes in between the advertisement boards and also the fans. It doesn't go back into the fans, because if it does go back into the fans, then Tom Glover will be in a lot of trouble too, because then that is not safe either. Like, you don't have the ability to choose to throw it back into the fans, because that is also health and safety. So yeah, it's a hard situation, but I think because of the emotions and whatnot, that's the reason why that happened. And maybe fans mistook that action and didn't understand that he wasn't actually doing it to instigate or antagonize or anything like that. But in the same sense, regardless, there's no excuses. Like, it's no excuses whatsoever. Zephyr says, wow, first live video in ages and this happened. Yeah, well, I live streamed all day today for the cricket, brother. I was here literally all day today for the South Africa versus Australia day one of the test. David Turn 10 says, hey, what happened in Melbourne? Oh boy, this happened in Melbourne, mate. This happened. Our player is now concussed and face cut because we had dickheads go onto the field and literally ruin any kind of good work that we possibly could have ever achieved in this league to act and get change to happen. That's literally all we were after. To get the league to understand that we don't want this and we want it to go back to normal, because that is the tradition that we built, not the piece of shit tradition that the APL and bald-headed muppet want. And the thing is that what happens from here? Because we're still pissed off, right? Okay, I'm going to explain something here. The hardest thing that everyone's going to have to understand right this second is, where does the league go from here? Because we don't just go, oh, we're so sorry, let's just go on and continue. Because I'm still pissed off. I've done nothing wrong here. You've done nothing wrong here. It's a couple of individuals who have done something wrong here down there. Again, I don't care about storming the field. I encourage the storming of the field there, but it's the attacking the player, which has happened by about 3-4 guys or whatever, probably, individually speaking, yeah? But they're the only ones who've actually specifically done anything wrong here. So I haven't done anything wrong. I'm still pissed off. I still want the Brisbane Roar if they get a grand final. They probably won't in the next 3 years. Oh, well, we're in the top 4 right now. We were in the top 4. We're a game behind. Point of the matter is, I still want to see the Brisbane Roar get a grand final at home, because that's the tradition that we built, and if we earn it, then we deserve it. But now, it's like we're going to be expected to take a back seat. The APL is going to come out and say, this is how it's going to be done. But we're still going to be pissed off. So who is going to... we have no high ground. We had the high ground, we've lost the high ground. With the APL, they now have the high ground, but in the same sense, we're not just going to put up with it still. So I don't actually understand how this goes from here, because we're still going to be at a complete discontent with each other. The APL is going to talk as if they're going to dictate us. We're going to tell them to go screw themselves. And I just don't understand. Melbourne Victory may play behind closed doors for the rest of the season. I don't know. DMH says, just got back from work and I found this out. What actually happened? I support Melbourne City. Victory fans attacked the goalkeeper, Tom Glover, on the field. Someone says, feel sorry for the keeper, takes away from the protest, makes the league have an article to cover up this meaning. Yep, absolutely. Danny Milner says, I'm a Phoenix supporter and it's disgusting and disappointing. Absolutely. And look, you've got all right to be disappointed because your fans did it correctly. You know, the Phoenix fans did it correctly. My fans, the Brisbane Roar, did it correctly. Everyone else has done it correctly. If you're a Victory fan, please go out. This is the hard thing, because if you go out against the people who attacked the player, but don't go out against the actual protests in general. Because the protest in general is done with the right heart, the right mind space, and the right head space. Please don't take the individual actions of a bunch of 3, 4, 5 tossers and tools as a representation of an entire movement. It's going to happen. It's inevitably going to happen. But please, if you're listening to this right now, do not take those individuals and what they did and kind of lump everyone in with them. Right? The media will do that, but please, you need to understand that that's not the case. David says, has Melbourne Victory fans added it again? I'm not going to argue it too much right now. Home of the NRL says some of the decisions the A-League have made are horrible and it doesn't help the fans. It doesn't. It doesn't. No one wants it. But right now, we're going to have to suffer the consequences. All of us are going to have to suffer the consequences of this. Football videos says Tommy Glover threw the flare back in the crowd. No, I do not believe that is the case. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But what I saw was him throw it in between the advertisement boards and the fans. In between. If he threw it back in the crowd, then he should face legal ramifications for the fact that he threw a flare back into the public audience, which is not allowed and is illegal. I do not believe he did that, however. I do not believe, because the way he throws it is like, if he wanted to get at them, right, if he wanted to throw it at them, he could have thrown it overarm, or he could have clearly thrown it into the crowd. But he clearly didn't do that. The fact that we're having a conversation, does it go into the crowd or not, probably shows that it didn't go into the crowd. They were going to storm the field regardless. I just want to throw this out there. No matter what, the OSM have said on their social medias that they were... Well, I don't know if they said it on their social medias, but everyone's known that they're going to storm the field, right? It's been a thing for the last couple of days. We knew that was going to happen. And it happened at the time they said it was going to happen. So them storming the field did not happen because of Tom Glover. Them storming the field could happen because they were always going to do that. And then the individuals then came out and decided to take it the next step. Don't make out, I don't want anyone to make out like the only reason they stormed the field was because of that incident, because we've known that's happening for the last couple of days, well before that. Justin Sango says, do what you said you were going to do and walk out for 20 minutes. Don't assault the players when they did nothing wrong and are caught in the crossfire. So dumb, league just died. Exactly right. And the worst part about it all, right, is that the players a lot of them are actually coming out against this, right? The players that can come out against it. Obviously, Craig Goodwin was manipulated in the way that the advertisement showed he wasn't actually in favour of it, right? But the players aren't necessarily in favour of this whatsoever, right? And I don't think any player probably is in favour of this whatsoever. So the fact of the matter is, people shouldn't be taking it out on. They should not be taking out the players whatsoever. Can we do this? Just didn't see it, but I'm shocked. It'll be everywhere on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Google, everywhere, man. Football video says Justin mate Tommy Glover threw the flare back in the crowd, that's why, but also the victory fans shouldn't attack him. You, Z-Tank99 and more have been sensational in covering the World Cup, but you've been let down big time. Oh, of course. It's not. But again, man, this isn't about us. It's not about me or Z-Tank or anybody else. It is about a collective football fan base in this country. We just want to watch football. We just want to watch soccer. Right? And I'm saying soccer for everyone who calls it soccer. I call it football. I don't give a shit what you call it, right? I just want to watch the game where we kick the ball with our goddamn foot. Right? And I just want to enjoy the Brisbane Roar or the Socceroos or literally anyone. And we had such a successful World Cup. We had such successful Socceroos. And it's crazy to think that literally just over a week ago, we're watching crowds across the country celebrate losing 2-1 to the team that's currently in the final in literally over 24 hours' time in Argentina. And it's crazy that the only two teams that we lost to are the two teams in the final in France and Argentina. Right? The positives from that. The positives from the fact that we nearly didn't make the World Cup to then are in the round of 16 and we're one kick away potentially from getting into to at least getting to extra time against Argentina. There are so many positives that we can take out of it, but yet this is what we're sitting at. This is what we're sitting at. City Football TV says disgusting behaviour by cowards. Justin Sunner says flares are great, but hold them or put them down next to you. Don't throw flares. That's just dumb in the first place. Yeah, exactly right. And we found this out actually as well with the Socceroos. People don't understand flare etiquette. Like, don't throw the flares. Like, obviously put it up and wave it around and go crazy with it, but don't throw it. Like, it's actually burning. It can create serious burns. And secondly, it hurts. It's not fun to get hit by a flare. It makes no sense why you're throwing it. If you're going to throw it, then actually, no, don't throw it. But if you're going to throw it where no one is, right? And I guess that obviously they're throwing it onto the field, and I'm not encouraging that whatsoever. But in the same sense, like, as long as it's not hitting anybody, as long as you're going in a complete... This is the thing. There's always going to be people around, so just don't throw flares. Like, there's no point to it. The whole point of it is to do like this. Like, and have it going everywhere. Why are you needing to throw it? You know, because getting hit by it is full on. Kieran says they did get hit by a flare. There's a video. Is there a video? Is there a video of Tom Glover throwing it and it going inside the active area? Is there a video? Also, regardless, if it does go in there, that does not then justify what we saw. However, it does give the fans ammunition in a sense. However, the flare still went on the field because of the fans. Do you see how no matter what, it gets turned back around on us? Regardless of how this happened, it always gets turned back around on us. Okay, Tom Glover threw it back into the fans. Well, guess what? How did the flare get onto the field? Bingo, the fans. No matter what, there is no excuse for what happened. Not a single one. Not a single one. Absolutely lifetime ban for the fans or prison. I don't know if prison's going to be a thing, but then again, it's not. I'm not a lawyer, man. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a football fan that wants to watch football. I wasn't planning to do a live stream here. I've been streaming all day. Like, I streamed at 12 and finished at 8. And then I thought I'd just kick back. I got somebody Burger King, or Hungry Jack's, whatever, but it's Burger King here in Fiji. I was just chilling out, and then that shit happens, and I thought I may as well jump on here because I know that it's just full on. Like, it's just full on. Danny Milner says City could get a 3-0 win. Should get a 3-0 win. No, because even though... No, that's not how it works. If anything, give it as a 1-0, or if anything, honestly, yeah, well, you wouldn't give a result to Melbourne victory. Maybe you postpone the game or whatnot, but I would not say that the game should be a 3-0 City win, because City did the right thing, actually. I would say you are right. I would give them a 3-0 win, actually. I would, because City didn't do anything wrong. City fans did nothing wrong. City players did nothing wrong. I don't believe that City should be taxed anything because of this, yeah. But I just can't believe that we're in the same situation as we were 5 years ago. I thought that when the FFA got screwed off, that we were done. But now we've actually got worse people in charge. We've gone from one boss, and now we're on the next level of boss. We're at the bigger, badder boss. One who's a bald-headed muppet. You know, people complain about Gallup. He seems like a saint right now. David Gallup seems like a saint right now compared to the dickheads that were the FFA and now the people who are in charge right now. Truly, it's mad that this is happening. Sydney Football TV said, I hate Melbourne Victory as a Sydney FC fan, can't stand it, but generalisation is the language of ignorance. It was only a few cowards who did that, and they don't represent all Victory fans. Absolutely. Just like the actions of them don't, summarise all fans in general. Mark Simmons says, protest all you like, but assaulting player and ref is not on. Even pitch invading is not on. I disagree in regards to pitch invading, but in regards to the assault, I agree with you absolutely. But pitch invading can be done as a way to stand up and make sure it is guaranteed 100% that the protests are seen. I'm okay with pitch invading as long as it is done without the intent of hurting anybody in general, right? It's not okay to hurt somebody at any stage, right? Not okay. Jonathan says, I love the A-League so much, but this is a dark chapter. This is the worst day in the league ever. This is the worst day in history. The FFA was way easier to deal with than this shit. But this is also done now because we all let it get so... The Victory fans obviously let it get way too emotionally charged. And because it was Victory versus City, it's already emotionally charged as it is. It's already as hectic as it possibly could be. You know, if it was Mariners versus... Raw, it wasn't going to get like that, but City versus Victory got like that. Graham Webster, I understand their anger, so do I, but it's absolutely nothing to do with the players and referee, absolutely, and they lost all semblance of the moral high ground when people are being physically attacked. I absolutely agree with the fact that I understand where they're coming from. I posted a 20-minute video the other day explaining the whole situation, why I thought it was stupid, and just doing what I could with someone who has at least a platform, right? I'm not the massive A-League YouTuber, I'm not someone with millions of people watching me, but at least I have a platform where I can provide why I believe that it is stupid, and continuing with that. I understand their anger because I agree with their anger, and I am with them in the protest, and I am with them in the way that they are portraying it until they take on the player. That was where it was just like, settle down. That's where you're just like, come on, man. Zed Hank 99 says pain, just pain. Oh, yeah, bro. Oh, it's pain, man. It's pain. It actually just hurts. You know what I'm saying? Like, it actually just hurts. When you're an actual fan of this league and fan of this sport, it just hurts. Because you just want the best. We had, and this is what hurts the most, right? What hurts the most is that we had, and we've said this again, we had such high expectations of the positives that we were going to receive from this World Cup. We thought, this is unreal. Round of 16, the whole country's getting into it. Yeah, look, you may not like football, you may not like soccer, but you might still check out an A-League game. You might still go there, enjoy a game, and maybe become a fan. Maybe you realise that those fans that were going crazy with the flares are the ones at the A-League too. Go and join us. Come down, come to the Den. Come to the OSM. Come to the Cove. Come to the RBB. Yellow Army. Novocastrians. Whatever, man. You know, go wherever. Go and support them. And then maybe we get some new fans. This is why it hurts so much. Because despite all this positivity, we've been completely railroaded. And I mean completely railroaded. Completely. JJ Sachs says your league is the laughing stock of the world, man. We know that. Like, I don't know. Okay, like, we are very well aware of that. You're not going to be able to insult it because we agree with that, right? I understand you're a troll and I understand you're trying to get a reaction, but the fact of the matter is man, like, we know that the league is a laughing stock, and we're trying to make sure people are aware of that so that we can encourage change, right? That's what we're trying to achieve. Sam Potters, I've never been so pissed in an Australian sport after seeing that. Oh, man. Absolutely. KP says, will this solidify the grand final decision? What's going to happen in the A-League now? It's a very good question, man. It's a very good question. But yeah, it is for, yeah, I don't know. Justin Sun has a video of incident by Channel 10 for people who don't know what happened. JJ Sack says, will City be awarded the win or what? I would assume so. But then again, we won't know until tomorrow. I don't think they'll make a statement until tomorrow. But then again, it's still quite early in Australia. It's still only 9:30 in Sydney/Melbourne, 8:30 in Queensland. So it could still... We surely should be able... If the APL has any semblance of balls, they will come out tonight and say something, right? It's not like they should be afraid of coming out and saying something tonight. But they'll calculate their response. This is the issue. They'll calculate their response and they will make sure that we look as bad as we possibly can because they want their beliefs portrayed. If this created change, I think this is about a 501 to 1 chance to create change from this incident because you would not want to encourage change based on violence. Melbourne won't deserve to have the grand final after that. Melbourne aren't going to get nothing now. They won't get shit. They are lucky to have any fans in any game for the rest of the season. Victory will lose serious amounts of money after that. I think they could even, they may even lose points. They genuinely, they're going to get really, really heavily slapped for this. This is violence. This is not flares at a game like we saw losing points in 2016, 2017. This is violence against actual players. Something that I only see in South America, not even America. America's a psycho place, right? And I don't even see this shit in American sports. You barely even see it in Western Europe. You don't see it in Western Europe. Eastern Europe, you see it a bit like Serbia, Bosnia, and the likes, yeah? Africa, absolutely, you see it. But this is the thing. Australia, we're never like this. This is not us. This is not our country. It's not our country. Footy Glug says, Danny Townsend should be forced to resign after this. It's absolutely unacceptable. Yeah, but he can use this as a way to big himself up. A-League bad when BCAL starts doing cricket streams when A-League is on. Well, I do both, man. It's just that tonight I was just kicking back because I just liked it. I was doing the cricket, but in the same sense, I will be showing the A-League. It's just that I just didn't do tonight because I wanted to kick back and just watch it myself and enjoy it. Sometimes I just like enjoying the sport by myself sometimes. Same but says, why do they give it to keeper? Because they're stupid. Shack of Hearts says, how does a boycott work? Does it work like a draw or do they award competition points as if the game ended 1-0? I don't know what the boycott comparison is, the resemblance of those two questions are. But the boycott works by not going to games or walking out. But the people who are walking out are people who actually have memberships that are already paid for regardless. If you're buying a ticket to go to these games and then walking out, you're an idiot because you're giving them more money. So you're not actually doing anything. But if you've got a membership and you're going to the game and leaving at 20-minute mark, that's amazing. But in regards to if they award competition points to City, then it will more than likely end at 1-0. It might give it as 1-0 or it could be 3-0, which is what the normal kind of that situation would bring. Footy Lux says, as a City fan, I'm shocked about all this. Those sick-minded Victory fans should be, at the very least, be banned from going to the matches. They will be, because the cameras are all over them. It's very easy nowadays. Go back 30 years ago when, you'd see it very difficult to find. But nowadays, there's cameras everywhere. They will be found, and they will be prosecuted, and they will be... I don't want them to be publicly shamed, because that would then go back to the issues that we faced in 2017 with the Wanderers fans. But in the same sense, yeah, they need to be absolutely slaughtered for what happened. Not necessarily publicly though, just in regards to legal ramifications. Yeah, because you've just fucked us all. You've just absolutely fucked us all. And I don't swear on the channel, but you've fucked us all. Louis Guimo says, what was the reason they saw on the field? Don't really follow the A-League. Due to the fact that the APL has decided to take away grand finals and put them to Sydney rather than the highest team to qualify. The highest team in the finals gets the grand final. Basically, it's not actually to do with that. It's to do with the fact that the APL is deciding what we want for us and making us pay more money to see our team in a grand final rather than being able to go and watch it at home. In our own hometown, which has been sold out. Every single grand final that Sydney have had is not even in the top 5 grand finals. It's saying Brisbane, more, Adelaide, more, Perth, I believe, was more as well. Sydney are not even in the top 5 grand finals. Thanks for coming. And yet they want to move it there. Stupid. Malcolm says, the fact that football game abandoned because of this in Australia is historic. This kind of thing usually happens in Europe. That's what I'm saying, yeah. Never happens in our country. No, Grimy. No. I'm going to disagree with this one. Don't forget crowds in Melbourne at Fed Square attack people wearing France jersey. Just saying, no. Those guys were Australians deliberately antagonising Australians at that game, knowing full well they were a bunch of wanker YouTubers who wanted to get a reaction out of Australians. No. That's completely separate. They threw water balls at those people and they pushed them around because those guys wanted a reaction. And they got it. You know, if you're going to go somewhere for a reaction, you're Australian, you're going to support France in a game against Australians in front of a bunch of Australians deliberately to film a video, then you deserve to get pushed around and thrown shit at you. Because that's what you're going there for, right? They should be happy because that's what they encouraged. That's what they wanted. Completely different situation. Justin Sutton says, reason for initial protest. On Monday, the league announced that the next 3 grand finals will be held in Sydney regardless of who's playing. Exactly right. Justin Beja says, that was disgusting by those OSM supporters who decided to do that. I hope they are banned for life. David says, I do believe in you, bro. Appreciate it, man. Wisdom Pelicans has cancelled the A-League. It possibly could be, bro. Julian says, will other games still go ahead tomorrow? I hope so, man, but I really don't believe it. I really don't believe it happens. We are a first world country. What is this shit? Yep, Joe. NC Vlog says, yeah, video come out with Tom Glover getting hit. Oh, no, that absolutely happened. We know that. Oh, no, that's not what we're asking here. Graham Webster, understand their anger. I read that comment already. Sirivia says, referee stopped the game because of flare. Glover threw it back so they could resume play. Not in an aggressive manner. Crazy fans use an excuse for anarchy. I would agree. But in the same sense, they did not storm the field because of that. They stormed the field originally. They were always going to storm the field. I think that the fans who then stormed the field took that and made an excuse to then attack, yes. But the reasoning for the storming of the field was not to do with that, yeah. Catman Sports says this is an absolute disgrace to the game. It's the worst day in, I would say, Australian sport, nearly. I would say this is one of the worst days. This is the darkest day in Australian sport, nearly. And this will reverberate around the country. And now a lot of parents will also see this in a really negative light in regards to letting their kids go to these games in the A-League. Yeah, because football is always the one that's been thought of as the safer to be a part of. This doesn't help that, does it? At all. Joe says, I know it's a different sport, but NBL knows how to run shit. I'm gonna kind of like it's very tacky, but in the same sense, I understand that they know how to run shit differently. Yeah. Matthew Norwood says the video shows Tom lobbed the flare, but the crowd was already over the barrier. If they hadn't thrown it at him to place or been on the pitch between the barrier and the board in the first place, that's what I'm saying. You know, he's clearly not antagonising the situation. It's very obvious. Like anyone with a brain can understand that he's not antagonising the situation at all. Daniel Pinker says victory won't lose points, but maybe ban fans for a while. That's the thing, man. I don't know if I necessarily agree with you because we saw back when the FFA shit was happening that we did see teams lose points for the actions of fans, right? So there is a possibility of it because I truly believe that City will be given these points because City fans did nothing wrong, City players did nothing wrong, the victory fans did something wrong. They literally came onto the field. So it's crazy though because we all knew something was going to happen, but that to happen was... That was mad. Sachin Kelton says the hype of the Socceroos was an amazing opportunity for the A-League to capitalise and grow off of that, but this is such a massive setback and definitely the lowest this comp has been. Really tragic. It is really sad. Like that's the thing. It is really, really sad. It's frustrating, but the main thought process that I have is I can't believe we're dealing with this. I can't believe it. I thought this was done. I really do. I really thought this was done. Not one parent's going to want to take their kids to their league now. Bang. That's exactly right, Jada Sachs. That's exactly right. Walkouts won't do anything. I relatively understand and agree with what you're saying. That's why I think that pitch invasion is actually okay as long as it's done with reasonable, with the right intentions. You know, with reasonable acknowledgement of consequences to your actions. There is going to be consequences if you do the wrong thing when you're pitch invading. But if you're running onto the middle of the field with a bunch of fans and stopping the game from happening, as long as you're just standing there or stopping the game from happening, that is going to do enough to make people see it. And if you do that with every single game, you know, you get the Raw fans, you get the Jets fans, you get the Mariners fans, Sydney fans, Wellington fans, Perth fans, Wanderers, everyone. You get everyone in on it and you stop every single game by going on there. As long as you don't get dickheads like tonight, you are going to make there is going to be an understanding. Football Australia put out a statement, did they? I want to go have a look at this. All right, well, we're live, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new around here, man. I'm not really here for that. I'm here just to chat with you guys because I just really want to chat about this. But in the same sense, if you are new, hit that subscribe button because we do create content every day. All right, Football Australia. Let's go have a look here. Man, why do you have to deal with this shit? Football Australia's statement. Here we go. Let's go see what they have to say. Can't wait to see how the fans get made out as a generalised, Haynes is the female journalist who hated the A-League in 2017 will be licking her lips up this. That is Rebecca Wilson, and she passed away. You're talking about Rebecca Wilson, yeah. She was a horrible human to us, but in the same sense, I'm not going to speak ill about the dead here, but she was pretty poor. Following shocking scenes during the first half of the A-League men's match between Melbourne Victory and Melbourne City at Amy Park on Saturday, 17th of December, where fans from the Melbourne Victory FC, they've dictated victory here, so be careful here in regards to points. Where fans from the Melbourne Victory FC entered the field of play, Football Australia match officials have abandoned the match in accordance with Law 5.3 of the laws of the game in order to protect the integrity of the match. Such behaviour has no place in Australian football, with a full Football Australia investigation to commence immediately, where strong sanctions to be handed down. Yep, that's it. So basically what they're saying is the fans will be... they will be charged effectively, and secondly... I think points are going to be taken. I do. Shane says, I thought A-League was going forward. That's why it was so... This is why it's so disappointing. This is why it's so disappointing because This is why the energy... I think this is why there's so much anger. This is the main reason why there's so much anger around this. Because the APL ruined the moment. They ruined the entire moment. And that's not justifying anyone's actions, but they ruined everything. See, that says rip Melbourne City, Melbourne Victory betters. No. You'll get your money back. No. You'll get your money back. Catman Sports says, I'm a Wanderers supporter, and honestly, our fans are almost worse than Victory. It's hard, man, because I don't believe that the Wanderers have had their bad shit in the past, but I'm not going to say that they would have done something similar tomorrow. I think, the Wanderers do have... Every fan base has this, right? I don't know many a part of the Den, because obviously I haven't been around the Den for a while now, but in the same sense, when I was there was no one really like this at the Den. It was always just a lot of fun. But there are, the RBB and the Victory supporters have had a bit of a history in regards to this. But in the same sense, there's no point us taking anything out on the Wanderers here. The Wanderers haven't done anything wrong, so there's not real any point talking about that. But yeah, look, it'd be interesting to see how the RBB do act. Especially with this situation now, I don't think anyone would do anything drastic, but in the same sense, the RBB do have a history, yeah. Ava Lennon says, I just saw what happened, it's absolutely pathetic. It is. Sky Blue Prophet says, absolute disgrace, you're right. Timmy Carr says, anyone who was involved with the assault should be jailed. They definitely will be getting smacked. They will be getting smacked. Grummy says, I did not know the people on the France jerseys were YouTubers. Yeah, YouTubers and Australians. They literally went to Fed Square to get a reaction. They didn't do it because they were French. They did it because they wanted a reaction. Just like all the Argentinians who posted on TikTok, oh, why'd you throw water bottles at us? That's because you're not actually Argentinian, you muppet. You're Australian going to an Australian supporters... effectively function, right? Like an outdoor supporters area, and you're surprised when Australians aren't happy that you're celebrating right in front of their faces and putting the finger up at them and laughing at them. If I was there, and I'll tell you this publicly, if I was there, I'm throwing a water bottle at them, right? Because you're not Argentinian and you're not French. You're here to create an issue. So I'm going to throw a water bottle at you. If we go to your country and did that, we get murdered. TMXXZY says, for football to grow here, we need to copy the American system. Football is the most popular sport over there. They still have the giant audiences and look at their talent at the moment. To grow here, we need to copy the American system in football, as in soccer or American football. If you're talking about soccer, then the MLS, no. If you're talking, MLS is built on older talent, then this is why USA will never win, because they're always built on older talent to progress their younger talent, but they don't really focus enough. If you talk about American football, I don't really understand the comparison. But in the same sense, the MLS does a lot better than us, but that's because they've got 360 million people in their population compared to our 25 million. Dustin Sunderland said, I think the league's RBB decides to take it to the next step. Then we could be in for some serious, like protesting. It's crazy that we're dealing with this. I just want to watch football, man. But it's necessary too. Logan Paul says, that's just a lie. I don't know who you're talking to. If you're talking about me, I haven't said a single lie this entire time. Knowledge Lyric says, now we won't get any international games being played here. Well, that's not true. Forget about any Premier League teams wanting to play a game here. I don't agree with this. Disgraceful A-League. I agree with that, though. This is why football is not properly funded and dead. It's not really why football is not properly funded and dead. And I don't think that this is going to ultimately cause teams and international games to not come here. However, we may have just lost ourselves an opportunity, that 2034 World Cup. We may have. I don't think that grudges will be held because there is the Morocco who want the 2030. They've had their issues with that. No, I don't believe so. Because countries that have hosted the World Cup before have had their issues, way worse issues than this. I don't think so, man. It's not that deep. It's deep for us, but I don't think other countries and other organisations are going to realistically give a shit. Like, you can't host a World Cup in the places like, or you can't host a Euros in Greece, or you can't host a World Cup in Brazil. Like, Brazil, their fan violence is through the roof. Holy shit. Like, their fan violence is through the roof. I can't remember was also assaulted before going after Glover. I did hear about that. I didn't see it, but I did hear about that, yeah. Sean Bernard Sheeple says TV reception went out, missed it. Well, you've got plenty. There's everything. I'm getting a million messages right now, Nissa. There's plenty of places you can see it, man. Plenty of places. Logan Paul, yeah, I don't know about that being a lie. City will be awarded the win, I agree. I've just seen the video and it looks like Glover just lobbed it off the field with no malicious intent. There was no malicious intent. Catman Sports says, South Melbourne lost 6 points a few years ago for a field invasion, so if Victory don't lose any points, I'm done with Australian football. Yeah, it's hard to see, man. I don't know. I believe you're right, though. I do believe you're right. I don't think the field invasion would have done anything, but I do believe that the assaulting will do the trick, yeah. And honestly, could be. It could be. I wouldn't rule anything out. I would not rule Victory losing all their points. I would not rule it out. This is violence, and this is not something that our country's ever seen. Dune said they might want to make a point out of it. Dune says, just heard about this in Scotland. What is happening? Yeah, it's crazy, man. People all around the world are hearing about this. This is a first world country we're talking about. This isn't some, country that is poverty stricken, that has people who are aggressive because of shit that's going on like outside. This is all simply to do with football, and this is all simply to do with going back against the establishment, because Australians don't take shit, yeah? Like, Australians have always been a country that, although they will toe the line so long, they're very brutally honest with how their thoughts are, and if they don't want something to happen, they will make it vocal. The more you travel, the more you understand that it's just, we're a very straightforward country in regards to how we feel, and this has been brewing, and it's gonna boil over more than this. There will be this isn't the end of it. Jack says, do you value a final at $3 million? He made the right call for a dying league. I disagree. I'm going to tell you right now, I disagree. I understand why people might want it to be in Sydney if you're in Sydney, but if you're not from Sydney, then no. Because the league actually, in fact, is not dying. Because just last year we had the APL coming out and saying the numbers were through the roof, the broadcasting was through the roof, the revenue was through the roof, Paramount Plus was doing well, everything was doing well with the league. So you're either going to tell me that the APL was lying to us all, you're going to tell me the APL completely and utterly lied to us in every single factor, or what you're going to tell me is that it's successful. So which one? So you've either sold the rights for more money because you're greedy as shit and just want it to go to Sydney because that's where the league is. Obviously, the main offices are held. That's where the NRL is. That's where everything, they want to congregate it. It's very different to the NRL in the first place, but the point of the matter is that it's either incredibly successful and they're greedy as shit, or they've been lying to us last year. Which one do you want? Would you rather the greed of the APL or we've been lying to you for years? You lose. Lose situation. Lose situation. Joe says, some low IQ dickheads did some low IQ shit. We shouldn't be surprised. Yeah, but we get blamed for it. So you're right, but we get blamed for it too. We get lumped in with it all, man. KP says, soccer has the most participation rates in Australia, particularly in juniors, as there's little risk. Now you can expect a huge drop in those numbers. I don't know how drastic the numbers are going to be because of this one incident. I think that people are relatively overreacting to the long-term effects of the game. I just think that people need to understand that we are about to be blamed for all of it as a generalised fan base, which is what happened previously. Sunrunner says this was meant to bring fans together and said they've set the game back a couple of decades. It's really sad. I think that we saw the terrorists get disbanded back in the day. The OSM, I'm really interested to see how they're going to continue with here, because now everyone hates them. Every single fan base hates them. And it's not a part of like a Manly Seagulls, right? Where Manly, they're like, oh, we know you guys all hate us, we don't care. It's not like that, because that's all a bit of in jest. You know, obviously teams hate them, people hate them, whatnot, but it's not really like a vitriol. It's not like you did something specifically wrong by us all, and now you can all go and screw yourselves. It's not like that. It's more of a rivalry, it's deeply entrenched, but in the same sense, it's realistically fun based, yeah. But with this, it's like they literally did wrong by us, and they literally did wrong by the league. And although it was individuals, those individuals are still represented by the group. So that's the issue that we're going to face here. Last shift says they even hurt the camera operators, a trained camera operator. This infuriates me. What the hell did the camera operator do to deserve that? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I just can't believe it. I can't believe we're talking about this, but you're absolutely right. But it's not just the cameraman, it's a player, it's a ref, it's everyone. It's everyone. This is just so silly that this situation's like this. Like a Ballsack says, I just saw what happened. I had no idea why the game ended. That is actually embarrassing. The game had completely died. Probably like that, most likely the biggest game in A-League in a while, and that happens. Yeah. Well, it was a time to make a statement, that's for sure. Hainsey, you don't have to worry about that, bro. And also, it's not that you need... It was Rebecca Wilson. But in the same sense, like, it's not... You don't need to be apologising about that. Like, she was horrible for our game. But in the same time, I'm not going to sit here and talk shit about someone who's passed away. Potato, yeah, exactly right. Qatar has plenty of issues, Zach. So that's why it's like this won't affect us in regards to getting a World Cup potentially in 2034. Qatar has way worse issues than this. Potato says, whoever threw the bit at the goalie should be banned for going to any sporting match for life. Yeah, but there was also a guy who threw a punch at him. Sal the first says, the plans were to walk out. Surely the A-League were aware of this and should have bumped up security. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But sometimes you want things to be... Okay, so this is something that a lot of people don't really recognise because they don't think ahead. They think now, they don't think ahead. Sometimes when you're the organisation, you kind of want it to happen. You want them to do it because you want to see how far they go. You want to see if they're going to give you the ammunition. If they had just walked out, then it kind of backfires on them in a sense because it was just kind of allowed and whatever. But because they decided to go this extra step, it now looks better for the people who we were going against. If you get what I'm saying. So by allowing it to happen, yes, it's an immediately negative reaction, but it also is encouraging people to come out and do the wrong thing, so it makes them look better, if you get what I'm saying. A-League officially dead. Is in a very sticky wicket, let's put it that way. Knox says, kick victory out for a season, lifetime bans for the spectators involved. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't rule anything out at this point. I really wouldn't rule anything out at this point. AFL has gone woke. What has AFL got to do with any of this? What has AFL got to do with literally any of this? Why they took the goalkeeper, was it targeted? I don't think it was targeted, bro. It was just emotions ran too high. JDS has just got home in the game. The dickheads that did this aren't football fans and we just lost the moral high ground. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Not even close to... Well, we don't have anything at the moment. Like, we have to sit here and wait for the response tomorrow because we're going to get Baldy come out tomorrow. We're going to get Danny Twat come out tomorrow and he's going to basically make out like we have no idea what we're doing and we're violent and now we're going to get... Like, this honestly could end in him saying, well, guess what? I'm going to give 5 years. You know what? We're going to bump the contract up for the next 5 years in Sydney. He can do whatever he wants now. And this is what I'm saying. This is not the end of this. This will get worse. And I don't know how long. I don't know if the league is going to be recovering, at least this season. I don't know how this is going to go. You are going to piss people off enough that it's going to get worse than what we just saw. I don't necessarily know it's going to be more in regards to violence, but it's going to be... People will genuinely be like, okay, well, you know what? Fuck you, dude. We're going to leave the game. Like, literally, we're going to stop watching. We're going to watch the Premier League. We're going to watch the MLS. We're going to go watch anything we want. We can go watch the NPL if we want to. I don't think that's going to happen. But the fact of the matter is that the further this drags on, the more people will be like, you know what? I just don't want to watch this anymore. it's not like it's the greatest product at the moment. Like, what's really drawing in the fans? At least, back in the day, you had Del Piero, you had David Villa, you had Emil Heskey, Andy Keogh came over, even to an extent, Charlie Austin. But, like, Charlie Austin is the limit that we're going nowadays. Like, that's who we're getting. Like, was it Keisuke Honda? Or was it... No, it wasn't Keisuke Honda, was it, that came? Like, Nani was a flop. Sturridge was a flop. That's the level that we're at nowadays. Back in the day, you had legitimate, players coming over that really caused a, fan spectacle. Nowadays, shithouse. And it's sad the way everything's going, man. It really is. It really is. I agree, JDS. Moral high ground lost due to aggressive children. Yeah, absolutely. Commissioner Marnie says, Glover threw a flare at people in the crowd. No, which is what caused the people to go at him. Not the correct response, though, which is why is no one talking about this? So we've gone over this. We're going to stick around for maybe about 10 or 15 more minutes, guys. But I'll respond to this, Commissioner Marnie. He has not thrown that with malicious intent. It was between the advertising boards and the fans, and at the 20-minute mark, they were always planning to storm the field. They did not storm the field because of that. They stormed the field, and then because the emotionally charged reaction to storming the field, they've then thought, we've just been attacked. So I think that the fans have genuinely thought that maybe he's thrown that at them. If anyone watching the game and watching that moment knew he was not doing it maliciously, and if you go back and look at it, you can see he was not doing it as any form of intent to throw it at anybody. He literally lobs it like this in between the advertising board and the fans. But because of the emotionally charged situation, the fans have taken that as an offense, and then they've attacked him. There's no justification for it, but that's just I believe what I'm coming to in my head. Yeah. Yeah. William Ollie says, why did he get injured? Because people are dickheads. Patriotic Penguin says, the Mariners walkout was hilarious today. Why was it hilarious? Is it because no one was there? I don't know. I didn't watch that game. I wasn't watching that game. I was watching the cricket. For all videos, I found a video of him throwing the flare, and it looked like it went further than expected and hit a few people, which stirred up the fans. And like, if that's the case, then he'll get in trouble too. But I don't believe it was done maliciously. I don't believe. Just my opinion. That was just my opinion, yeah. Pausing the league would do nothing. It would just continue next season. I just don't know how this goes from here. I really don't, bro. I really don't know how this goes from here. I don't know how we rectify the situation. Sasha Kelson says, could this seriously be a competition ender and actually kill the league? I don't think it will kill the league, but it's like we're at a point now where the fans will not accept this league until it is taken back to where the highest placed team in the finals will get the grand final. The fans will not accept the league, and they will spite the league. It will be a spiteful thing now. It's not about fans will now sit back and say, I'm so sorry because of these guys. Because no, I'm not apologising because I've done nothing wrong, and I still believe that you're a dickhead. I still believe it in regards to Danny Townsend and the APL. Just because of these idiots does not mean I now change my perspective on what I had beforehand. So we're going to still have that same perspective. They're going to have an even more negative opinion about the fans. I don't know how this rectifies. I really don't. I don't. I'm a fan just like you guys. This is just my opinion. You've got your opinion. I got my opinion. Dune says, how about every team try to make sure no New South Wales... Here we go. Wait. How about every team try to make sure no New South Wales teams reach the grand final and then both set of fans refuse to go to the final? Like, yeah, but in the same sense, they do that every year, right? But I don't think Sydney FC are going to make the final. Wanderers, potentially, but I don't think so. It would be hilarious to see Wellington versus Brisbane or Wellington versus Perth or Adelaide versus Brisbane. It would be hilarious because no one would go. Benjamin Rowley says, talking about AFL, imagine us AFL fans did that because the grand final is at the MCG till 2030. See, the thing is, and this is something that I've been noticing a lot in recent days, people say, but AFL works with the MCG and NRL works with the core stadium. The fact of the matter is that the MCG has hosted it forever. And the NRL, core stadium, has hosted it forever, right? The majority of Melbourne, of AFL, is Melbourne teams. North Melbourne, St Kilda, Collingwood, Hawthorn, effectively Geelong, Carlton, Essendon, the list goes on. We're getting up to 10 teams. And then you go to Sydney for the NRL, you've got Manly, St George, Cronulla, Parramatta, Tigers, Panthers, Roosters, Rabbitohs, you can effectively count in Canberra. They're only like 3 hours away. You can effectively count in Newcastle as well. But the matter is that all the teams are congregated in the one area. With the A-League, you've got literally 3 teams there. You've got the Brisbane Roar, who are, a 10-hour drive away. You've got Wellington as another country. You've got Melbourne that's completely out of the question. You've got Perth that's basically closer to Beijing, China than it is to Sydney. You've got Adelaide that's in a completely another state too. The fact of the matter is that the whole league does not congregate around one place. So that's why it's so silly and so stupid. But people haven't really recognised this just yet. I'm not having to go anyone specifically there. I'm just saying in general. But yeah, Benjamin. Yeah, if people did that, it would be crazy. But in the same sense, A-League has always been hounded a little bit more unfairly in this country because the big powers of the AFL and NRL never want to see the or football in general successful. It's always been the case. I love AFL, I love NRL, I love all sports. I have no competitive rivalry with any sport because I love them all. Jimbo Swacky, that's a name, all right. That is a name. Says absolutely shameful. The grand final thing is what happens when you have the greedy clubs in running the asylum. It happened with the NSL. It's shameful what happened today, but it's also shameful the decision. I posted a 20-minute video explaining my thoughts about the announcement the other day. Like I said, we'll stick around for 5 more minutes, guys. For 5 or 10 more minutes. Elite Falcon says, I wasn't ever planning to do this stream, by the way. I literally was planning to sleep for day 2 of the cricket tomorrow, where I'll be streaming all day, where I guarantee I'm going to get a billion more questions about this as well. Elite Falcon says, I understand Glover threw flares back at the OSM, but punching and assaulting him was never needed. It was never... it was not malicious, but in the same sense, he should still get in trouble for throwing it back in that situation because it is still dangerous to the fans, right? It's always the fans' fault for throwing the flare in the first place. He shouldn't be throwing it back at them. Even if it didn't go in, it's still a hazard and safety precaution, whatever. Just throw it just off the field. You don't have to throw it all the way back in if you're going to do that. But in the same sense, there's no justification for anything that happened. Sean, but on a sheeple, says, I got heckled by Gwenda during Barefoot Bowls last week. Thanks, mate. Appreciate you for that comment. Commissioner Marnie says, one flare between the barriers, fine. One into the crowd off camera. The fans on the field are idiots, but he was also an idiot. Well, I've maintained that the entire time. If there is proof that he did that, then I maintain and agree with exactly what you're saying. Yeah. Jacob, APL out, says, watch it again. Glover definitely threw a flare into the fans. On CAF, you can find it. Oh, well, there you go. Well, then the thing is that does not justify what happened. But if it did happen, then he should be in trouble as well. Right? He should be in trouble as well. I've been maintaining that the entire start, since the start. Real question is, are the ball boys okay? Mate, they're ball boying. They're ball boying all day. You can't see on free-to-wear, but fans have videos of him throwing the flare. Well, there you go. He should be in just as much trouble. Caleb Johnson, I don't believe tomorrow's games will go ahead. If anything, they might play behind closed doors. But I don't know if you can blame Wanderers / MacArthur. But then again, that is a Western Sydney rivalry derby. I think that's who they're playing tomorrow. I think it is MacArthur, isn't it? It's Western United versus Wanderers. And MacArthur versus Perth. So there isn't really that. Oh, well, the Amy Park game might not happen because it is West United versus Wanderers. I don't know about that. I really don't know. Bro, this is unheard of what's happening. The Trap says it landed either just in front of the fans or hit someone in the front row. It was closed. Can't tell from the cameras angles I've seen because of the quality. It's going to be, they need proof. Grimy says, before you go, France or Argentina. I think France is the better team, but I think that Argentina are being given a lot of leeway for Messi. But I think that France are technically the better team. Jack says, ratings are down. They would lie to save face. Saying the final was a fine call. So you're telling me that they've been lying for years, and you're justifying that they've been lying for years? Oh, I don't know about this, man. So you're telling me that you advocate for a league that lies to you, and you advocate for an organisation that lies to you about the finances that are coming in and the support that's coming in, and you advocate for the lying from I don't understand. You're literally advocating for a dishonest league. That's crazy. Solo LKT's big issues when leaving. They had like two doors open. Don't want to get a trampling incident. How about Melbourne Victory versus Western United next week? I don't think Victory fans will be allowed in next week. Second flare thrown footage on Test 6 and Zach News World channels. Well, I'll have a look at it, and then I know I'll be posting a video about it this week. I know for a fact it will happen. I know it will. Bez says, was it the game? He did throw a flare back at the fans, although it wasn't entirely his fault, as was thrown directly at him first. Well, everyone is at fault here. Every single person is at fault here. All we needed to do was either storm the field and just shush or leave the stadium. But I did notice that I don't think anyone actually left the stadium in any of the protests. I think they just relocated, which kind of defeated the purpose. Because, the thing is that the APL can get statistics on gate leaving numbers and when fans left the crowd. So what actually... I understand that on TV it showed the fans left, but I think we all understood that they just went to another place in the stadium. It's a bit of a how you going situation there. It's a bit how you going. Jason's off topic, but he's streaming the third place World Cup final. I'll do the World Cup final. I will not be streaming the third place one. I will not be doing third place, because I wasn't even planning to stream again tonight. Jack says, how am I advocating for that? That is just what it is. Well, what you're saying is that it was okay to lie because they're trying to save face. That's what I'm saying. But again, man, it's your opinion, right? Your opinion, and you're entitled to it. I'm not saying that you're wrong for your opinion. I think it's bullshit. I believe in my opinion that it's bullshit that it's happening, and I have my reasons for it. And if you'd like to see my reasons for it on a less live format, I did a video about it that went for 20 minutes the other day. You can go and check that video out and understand where I'm coming from, yeah? I'm not saying that you're wrong, and I'm not saying that I'm right, but what I'm saying is I believe in what I'm saying, and you can believe as well what you're saying in regards to the league. It is what it is. I just think that you're advocating for a dishonest league. Doogie says, should they change it to a team on top of the league wins instead of having finals? Australians won't have it. I believe that's the right way to do it, but Australians won't get behind that in comparison, I don't believe. I think Australians need the final because they've always been a NRL AFL country where it has to have a ultimate winner in that sense, and I think that people wouldn't find it as, because you've always got to have that one last opportunity. Even if you come 8th or if you come 4th, you still have the opportunity to win. If that's the case, then it's like, unless you are the best team, you're not going to win. A lot of people won't enjoy it as much. It's just the way the country's been built. It's just the way it has been. We'll go through 5 more comments. Solar says, most of us just waited there for like 25 minutes waiting to see if the game will start again. Obviously not. City fans left earlier. Yeah, I was sitting there watching on stream for a little bit. I was on TikTok as well, live streaming my live reaction. But I was just there thinking, I didn't know what was going on either. But this is unprecedented, man. This is not something that we've had in our country really before. So it makes sense why it took so long to come to an understanding of what was actually happening. Football video says APL didn't have logical reasoning other than money to do this, and now after this game they do. Yeah. Battlefield says, don't think any games at AU Park for a bit. The stands have been wrecked with broken chairs and rubbish anywhere. I did think that there'd be broken chairs, and I think it would be when this match will start. We just had a comment saying when this match will start. Mate, this match will start in about minus 10:45, 9:45, about 2.5 hours ago is when this game will start. Yeah, it's... There's no way you've been here for longer than 10 minutes and are asking me when this match is going to start. I don't... Yeah, the Amy was meant to be tomorrow. Western United meant to play Wanderers tomorrow. Someone says, damn, 8th place, though, very sad. We had a chance in the season. Yeah, Western Bulldogs did it from 7th back in 2016 in the AFL. And 8th, Jared Hayne, the Parramatta Eels in 2009 nearly did it. They got to the grand final and lost. But overall, no 8th place team has ever won, yeah. But a 7th place team did win, yeah. Elijah Wilson says, how much money fine do you reckon that the man who threw the bucket at the glove will get? I think he genuinely, potentially will get a legitimate assault charge. I have no idea. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know this kind of deal, but he'll be really heavily rectified. Like, there'll be multiple people who get charged, yeah. Multiple. They got to find it first, Solar. You're right, but in the same sense, there's cameras everywhere, man. Like, everyone saw him, and the OSM are going to be hounded heavily by the league, and the OSM are going to be hounded heavily by their own team in the Melbourne Victory. They're going to be... Wow, the consequences that they're going to find is going to be severe. Yeah, it's going to be severe. But guys, I think I'm going to jump off for now. I have been here for about an hour. I was not planning to do the stream, obviously, for obvious reasons. Tomorrow, guys, we will jump on. We'll be live streaming the day to the cricket, which I guarantee people will be talking to me about the A-League all day tomorrow as well. I do appreciate you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys... Yeah, it's a tough situation, man. It's a real tough situation. I love the A-League. I love football. in this country, and I'm always going to advocate for it. I'm still going to watch it. I'm still going to support it. But with that being said, it does need to have people coming out and still, and I maintain this, you still need to maintain the same perspective. Unless you genuinely have changed it, you need to maintain the same perspective and really still fight for your beliefs. Don't let this now withhold your beliefs and suppress your beliefs, because there's going to be a lot of things coming at you. Media, other fans, just people in general, clubs, organisations saying you're not allowed to believe that anymore. Don't feel like you can't. Don't feel like you can't. So, yeah, I appreciate you. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.